All right, folks, let's talk about Parmenides' argument against motion. So this is basically how Parmenides' argument against motion works. Parmenides says, let's assume for a moment that the universe exists. And let's further assume that the universe is in motion, that is, motion exists. That is, that there is some kind of chain of cause and effect that gives rise to things and destroys things. Now, if motion exists, logically speaking, that must mean that the causal chain must have a beginning. And we can also logically assume that the chain of motion comes to some kind of an end. So what this means is that the universe, if it's in motion, it must have been created at some point. And at some point, the universe will be destroyed. Are you with me so far? So again, if the universe of motion exists, then it must have been created, and logically speaking, it must be destroyed. Now this is where it gets interesting. What existed before the beginning of the universe? Again, logically speaking, Parmenides says, nothing, because nothing exists before a beginning. And what exists at the end of the causal chain? Nothing. So if the universe of motion exists, then it must have been created out of nothing, and it must return to nothing. Again, that's just logic. So here's Parmenides' argument in a nutshell. If the universe is in motion, then it must have a beginning. If the universe has a beginning, then it must have been created. If the universe was created, it was created out of nothing. But creation out of nothing is impossible, because again, according to logic, it just is not probable. Therefore, a universe in motion is impossible. So the world of motion that you and I experience, it is an illusion. It is illogical for it to exist. Convinced by his argument? Let me know.